Hello, happy Tuesday afternoon and or early evening. It's about 4:07 at my time of recording. But nonetheless, I hope you're having a very nice Tuesday or any day of the week that you might be listening to this on. I wanted to create this video just to check in with myself and talk about how I've been feeling. I want to call back to the video that I made prior. Things are moving. I've been making more of a conscious effort to stay on top of eating, healthy habits, and keeping track of what I'm doing with my time in terms of organization, little lists. Today I ran a quick errand to pick up a dermatologist prescribed medication, like a skin medication. I'm closing in on 6,000 steps out of my 7,000 step goal. But I suppose I'll get into the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about. Things are going well, relatively. And I feel deeply sad. There was a deep sense of loss or loneliness in me. I very much so wanted to fill this void by connecting with people. And that's still my intention. I've made an effort to reach out to people, coworkers, friends. And I feel sad. I feel this sadness in my abdomen. Like it's like a tightness. It feels more than sadness, like it feels heavy, like grief. Like I'm physically weighed down by it. Meanwhile, I'm out and about, or busy. I don't feel it so much. But when there's pause in my day, so does this grief enter. Or so do I notice it. Do I become aware of it? I've spent a long time trying to run away from myself, escape from my body, daydream, mentally escape, use substances that got me away from myself, cut away parts of my reality. There was a sense of security in my self-destructive addict or junkie lifestyle that I partook in for a good part of my life, a good few years. The story of being the addict that would do anything for their next high, that would lie through their teeth to get what they wanted. And meanwhile, I'm using they, or it may feel like I'm othering. I'm speaking about myself. I'm speaking about what I was doing, the way I was acting. I acted out of selfishness, a desire to escape from my sorrow to the exclusion of everyone else. At the same time, then, and even still, I live with the man that sexually assaulted me as a child. That's one thing that is extremely challenging in my life. Meanwhile, the memories of the sexual violence that I lived through are in my unconscious. I'm still carrying this burden in my nervous system. I am still traumatized. I'm living with this trauma. I used to think of it egoically as if this trauma is something waiting for me rather than something that is already a part of me. Addiction allowed me to, to a certain degree, insulate myself from the pain and the grief associated with my trauma. Allowed me to place space between myself and feeling out of control, like being sexually assaulted did. Feeling so out of control of my body. I've been desperate to try and control the way I feel, control the way I appear in this world. Control has become a big part of my life. And consciously, I'm trying to let that go. One way that my ego attempted to protect me from some challenging sensations in my body was through, you could compare it with depersonalization, or the subjective feeling of feeling like you're not in your body, or like your emotions aren't yours. Like there was this voice that would constantly come in, like an anxiety, like, I'm not in my body. Like it was very narrative. It was very like saying this, and it was a part of me. Like there was all these little parts of myself that were chirping in, helping me compartmentalize. Oh, I feel something painful in my body. Oh, I'm not feeling that. Or it feels far away. It'd say things like that. Things that implied there was some kind of separation. I know that this is a big way of how my ego helped protect me during the helped me while I was being raped as a child. Helped me by distancing myself mentally from what was happening. I remember one instance, a fragment of a memory. My stepdad came in to assault me. And I think during this instance, he told me to roll over. He came into my room. He told me to roll over. And I remember I instantly turned away from him. I got onto my bed, and it was like my vision blurred. It was like suddenly I was lost in this. Like I could still see the light of my room, but it was as if I completely detached from what was happening, as if I was staring into a void. And it's very hard to describe because I don't know if, like, I still have visual memory of what was happening, but the impression I get was that the dissociation that came on was so potent that I felt like I disconnected from at least the visual aspect of what was happening, and sensationally. There were times when I had to give my stepfather oral sex when I was a child. Um, and And yeah, I remember him saying, like, like, come on, come on. I mean, he was kind of like nagging me because I didn't want to do it. Um, I get like a somatic memory of kind of like pursing my lips and something rubbing against my face. So that's kind of a memory comes up when I talk about it. Um, but I remember looking up at him, and I was probably like 9 or 10 when that was happening. I remember kind of like these eyes that he stared at me with, just like, I don't even know how to describe it, just like it's scary eyes, like not like he was actively trying to terrorize me, but just like it was so animalistic, it was so carnal, like just the way he looked at me, like I was like some sexual object, the like how objectified I felt. And meanwhile, all the while this was happening, I'd scream and I'd fight and I'd shout and I'd beg my parents to stop. I'd tell them to stop. I'd tell my mother to stop, and then I'm going to run away and I'm going to tell someone. And then she'd just look at me and say, like, yeah, yeah, okay, okay. And she'd walk away. Like, basically, they didn't want a human being. They didn't want a child. They wanted someone that they could abuse and get away with. They completely invalidated me. They completely turned their back on me. They treated me with such a inhumanity. My emotions, my feelings, it didn't matter. They wanted to abuse me. They wanted to maliciously harm me. That's what they put me through. That's what they wanted. And so meanwhile, my subconscious, my wholeness, my humanity, my spirituality, my everything, myself, who I am, all of that was disregarded by people who were very important to me, people that I loved so deeply, people that I wanted love and acceptance from. And yet they can only look at me, or yet they did. They chose to look at me. What they did through their actions, they treated me like an object. They abused me sadistically, maliciously, harmfully, deliberately, to traumatize, to wound, hatefully. It was hate. What I was a recipient of in childhood was hate. And the way that felt was terror. It was overwhelming disgust, like I wanted to vomit, like I couldn't take it. It was anxiety. It was feeling out of control, like I couldn't control what was happening, like I couldn't escape. Like the only way that I could survive was to change myself. It was to change the way that I thought about things, the way that I viewed myself in reality. It was to try and take violent control of my own narrative. It was to rely so heavily on my ego to help protect me from overwhelming experiences that I wasn't in control of physically, as a part of mother reality. In mother reality, I was raped, I was harmed, I was abused, I was violated, I was torn to pieces. My child's soul was raped and murdered. That's what happened in mother reality. But in small mind, in my ego, it didn't happen. That was the big spur that I dismissed mother reality. I dismissed the concept of other. I dismissed other people, and I became a self-consumed individual. And I needed to. I needed to look at things in a certain way. And the only way that I could maintain this facade, this illusion that I was maintaining, was by fighting tooth and nail to maintain my house of cards, and everything needed to be in its right place. Nine Inch Nails has a wonderful song about it. Right Where It Belongs, I believe it's called. Off of With Teeth. It's the, I believe, the final song off the album, and it's gorgeous. That one strikes a chord with me, seriously. There's a lot of Nine Inch Nails music. Like when I was really struggling with, when I was really struggling, even more so than now, Nine Inch Nails was the soundtrack to my self-destruction, to my egoic pursuits. It was this desire to be grandiose and to escape my woundedness. It was this desire to become something that I wasn't. And I think I'll leave it at that. I think I've said plenty for this recording. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I hope you're doing very well and that this journey of life is full of bounty and fruit for you. Maybe both metaphorically, fruit, and literally fruit. It's sweet and it's yummy and it's good for you. Eat your fucking fruit. Fiber. Excellent. Thank you, and bye for now. I hope to see you soon. This has been The Wounding of Dorn.